The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council glowed with blue light as representatives of 53 species gathered. Their voices blended into a low, humming argument that shook the air. At the center of the circular chamber stood the silver symbol of the council, shining like a cold star. Today's session was special. After a century of silence, someone had placed the human ban back on the agenda. High Chancellor Redick of the Varn Dominion tapped his long claws on the crystal desk. His eyes were narrow, his voice smooth and calm. "We are here," he said, "to once again confirm that the species known as humans shall remain permanently banned from all interstellar territories." A wave of laughter followed. The delegates of the Zelny, tall insectoids, made clicking sounds that echoed like mock applause. The Lumari delegate, a glowing jelly form, pulsed with bright amusement. "Ban humans?" It bubbled. "How can we ban what no longer exists?" The hall filled with soft chuckles. Even the translator drones buzzed with amusement as if the idea itself were a joke. At the far end of the chamber, a small and quiet figure sat watching. Ambassador Threx of the Talon species was new to the council. Unlike the others, he didn't laugh. He had read about humans, studied their old transmissions, and he couldn't understand the hatred or fear the others carried. He knew humanity had vanished 200 years ago after the Silent War, but something about their story felt unfinished. Redick spoke again, his voice carrying across the hall. "Let us remember the reason for the human ban. Their aggression, their stubbornness, their refusal to join the council peacefully. They destroyed their own world, and when offered peace, they answered with violence." The room murmured in agreement. Screens around the hall showed archived images of Earth's final days. Cities burning, ships leaving orbit, the last transmission from a blue-green world now silent. Ambassador Threx hesitated. Then he pressed his request button. "Chancellor," he said softly, "may I speak?" Dozens of alien eyes turned toward him. Redick frowned but gestured for him to continue. Threx stood, adjusting the translation device on his neck. "Honorable Council, I only ask one question. Has anyone ever seen the full video record of the final human message?" The hall went silent. Even the air seemed to stop moving. Redick's expression tightened. "That recording is classified. It is said to be corrupted." Threx tilted his head. "I have seen fragments. It does not seem corrupted. It seems hidden." Whispers spread. The Lumari pulsed dimly, uneasy now. The Zelny delegate clicked his mandibles. "You speak dangerously, young one. The council banned that footage for a reason. Humans were mad." Threx's voice grew steadier. "Mad or misunderstood? Every record shows the council surrounded their planet. Humans asked for dialogue. The council answered with weapons. Perhaps they reacted like anyone cornered." Laughter broke again, but this time it was thinner, more nervous. Redick raised his claws for silence. "Ambassador Threx, you speak as if you sympathize with them." "I do not sympathize," Threx said. "I am curious. Because if they were truly gone, why does your dominion still fear a message from the past?" The words hung in the air like a spark waiting for fuel. Redick's eyes flashed. "There is nothing to fear. The humans were extinguished. The ban remained symbolic." Before he could continue, a low hum filled the room. The main holoscreen flickered. Lines of static formed across its surface, and then an ancient logo appeared. An image of Earth, rotating slowly under the words United Earth Command. The sound of a human voice, calm and firm, echoed through the hall. "This is Admiral Kira Solis of Earth," the voice said. "If you are seeing this, we are gone. But remember, extinction is not the same as defeat." Every delegate froze. The guards at the doors moved closer to the walls, uncertain what to do. Redick shouted, "Cut the transmission!" But the screen refused to obey. The image shifted. Now it showed humans, thousands of them, working together on colossal ships, repairing engines, carrying wounded, singing songs in languages the translator could not even process. They looked fragile compared to the other species, but their eyes burned with a strange, unstoppable light. "We were offered peace," the Admiral continued. "But peace is not surrender. We believed freedom was worth the price. If we fall, others will rise. If our voices fade, our stories will remain." The delegates stared, transfixed. The Zelny stopped clicking. The Lumari dimmed to a soft, uncertain glow. Even Redick stood silent, his claw frozen in mid-gesture. The video changed again, showing human ships surrounding a council fleet much larger than theirs. Energy blasts filled space like lightning, Human vessels exploded, yet more emerged from the darkness, battered but still moving forward. They fought not for conquest, but to protect something invisible. An idea, perhaps. Ambassador Threx whispered to himself. They knew they would lose. The Admiral's voice returned. You may call us extinct. You may erase our name from your records. But one day someone will find this message. They will see what you tried to hide. And when they do, they will remember what it means to be human. The screen flickered again. This time it showed something none of them expected. A planet, green, alive, and clearly not Earth. Human settlers walking among alien ruins, waving to the sky. The date in the corner was centuries after Earth's fall. Gasps filled the room. Redek slammed his fist against the table. Impossible! Fabrication! Threx stepped closer to the screen. It looks real, he said quietly. Maybe they survived. Maybe they rebuilt somewhere beyond our charts. Panic rippled through the council. Some delegates demanded the feed be destroyed. Others whispered about reopening the ban. The room that had once been full of laughter now trembled with fear. The transmission began to fade. The Admiral's voice softened but remained strong. To whoever watches, do not fear us. Learn from us. We are not monsters. We are a mirror of what you could become. Then the screen went black. For a long moment, no one spoke. The silence was heavier than any sound. Even the light in the hall seemed dimmer, as if the walls themselves were thinking. Finally, Threx broke the silence. So that is what you banned, he said softly. Not humans. The truth. Redek glared at him, but the Chancellor's usual calm was gone. His voice cracked slightly. That video was propaganda. Nothing more. Then why hide it? Threx asked. Redek had no answer. Around the chamber, many delegates avoided each other's eyes. The laughter that had filled the hall earlier seemed childish now, almost cruel. A faint beep echoed from Threx's console. He looked down. His personal communicator showed a strange symbol, an Earth insignia. A simple message blinked on the screen. We were never gone. His heart raced. He looked around, wondering if anyone else saw it. No one did. The council was in chaos, shouting, arguing, trying to decide what to do. But Threx just stared at the small symbol glowing on his screen. Somehow deep inside he felt a presence, a thought that maybe, just maybe, the humans were still out there. Watching, waiting, learning, and if they were, then the galaxy was about to change forever. The Galactic Council had never known such confusion. Delegates shouted over one another, debating the meaning of the human transmission, the newly appearing planet, and the tiny glowing symbol on Ambassador Threx's console. Some called it a forgery. Others whispered that it could be a warning. Nobody knew what to do. Redek tried to regain control. Order, everyone listen, he barked. His voice shook slightly, betraying the doubt he fought to hide. Humans are gone. The ban stands. This video changes nothing. But his words fell flat. The memory of what they had seen lingered in every mind. Those images of humans, battered yet determined, refusing to surrender, had left a mark that laughter could no longer erase. Threx could not stop looking at the Earth insignia. His hand hovered over the console, wanting to understand its meaning. The message blinked repeatedly. We were never gone. He felt a strange mix of fear and awe. It was not just a warning. It was a promise. The Lumari, once so confident, now pulsed with hesitation. Could it be true? Their translator bubbled softly. Could humans have survived beyond the ban? The Zelny delegates' mandibles clicked nervously. Impossible. Their world was destroyed. Their fleets were annihilated. And yet, he paused, his long, thin antennae trembling. Perhaps we underestimated them. Threx stood and addressed the room. Council members, humans were more than what you believed. They were clever, resilient, and united. You called them aggressive, chaotic, even dangerous. But what you see now is the result of that same determination. Built not for destruction, but for survival. A few delegates leaned forward, curious despite themselves. The Varn Dominion, proud and rigid, glared at him, but Redek's usual certainty seemed weaker. Meanwhile, the recording on the main holoscreen flickered back to life on its own. This time it showed human settlements growing quietly on that distant planet. There were cities shaped like mountains, farms that glowed with energy fields, children playing beneath protective domes, and ships leaving and returning to orbit. Every frame spoke of life, growth, and hope. Admiral Kira Solis's voice returned. We learned that the galaxy is larger than any council can control. We learned that survival requires more than weapons. It requires courage, wisdom, and trust in each other. We hope that when this reaches you, it will remind you that strength is not only in armies but in hearts that refuse to surrender. The delegates were speechless. Even Redek could not find a word. The council that had always prided itself on knowledge and strategy now faced the reality that a species it had deemed extinct had quietly rewritten the rules. Threx's voice broke the silence. They did not just survive, they thrived. And not because of what the council gave them, but because of who they were. Humans built something stronger than fear, stronger than fleets or weapons. They built hope. And hope endures. A ripple of unease moved through the room. The Zelny clicked anxiously. Hope, they muttered. They talk of hope? Against fleets and planets destroyed? Yes, Threx said, meeting their gaze. Against everything. And they won, not by destroying but by enduring. Outside the chamber, word of the transmission began to spread. The Council's own communication network, designed to control and censor, could not contain the footage. Across the galaxy, beings of all species paused. Merchants in the trade hubs, pilots in empty starports, scholars in quiet archives, all watched the humans on that distant planet, living quietly yet with an unmistakable fire in their eyes. Redek turned to Threx, his tone cold but tinged with fear. How did you find this? How did you see it when no one else could? Threx lifted his head, calm but firm. I did not find it. It found me. Perhaps they trusted that someone would see the truth. Perhaps they always knew that their story was too important to be lost. The council chamber fell into stunned silence. Delegates whispered in their own languages. A few tried to deny what they had seen, claiming it was impossible, but the proof was undeniable. The humans' actions, their survival, their flourishing settlements were visible across multiple channels, now impossible to hide. Redek's face hardened, but deep inside, he felt something he had not felt in centuries: fear. Not of war, not of diplomacy, but of being wrong. For centuries he had judged humans as a failed species, but now he realized they had simply been misunderstood and underestimated. Threx spoke again. If the Council truly wants peace and order, you will need to reconsider your approach. Humans are not extinct. They are not aggressive in the way you fear. They are strong, united, and aware. Any attempt to control or ban them now will be met not with simple defiance, but with resilience beyond your imagination. Some delegates shifted uncomfortably. The Lumari pulsed dimly as if afraid to shine too brightly. Even the Zelny, with all their bravado, seemed smaller, less certain. Outside, in the dark reaches of space, human scouts observed quietly. They had sent the message intentionally, knowing it would reach the Council eventually. They did not need to fight. They did not need to threaten. Their presence, their survival, and the video of their lives was enough to make the galaxy pause. The final frames of the transmission showed humans standing together, facing the stars. Ships lifted from the planet's surface, explorers ready to journey further into the galaxy. The Admiral's voice, calm and resolute, carried the final words. We do not seek war. We do not seek revenge. We only ask that you remember us as we remember you. The future belongs to those who can endure, and humanity endures. The holoscreen went dark, leaving the Council in silence. The laughter that had once filled the room was gone. What remained was something far heavier: respect, fear, and wonder. Threx turned to Redek. The ban has lost all meaning. You cannot call a species extinct when they are thriving beyond your reach. And if the humans wish to share their knowledge, to grow beyond the stars, you will not be able to stop them. Redek clenched his claws. Then we must act. Threx shook his head. No, not yet. First we learn. First we understand. Humanity is not a threat, they are a lesson. And the galaxy is only beginning to understand what it means to face a species that refuses to be forgotten. Across the Council, debate continued, but it was different now. There was no laughter, no mockery. Only a quiet, uneasy understanding. For the first time, delegates considered what humans could achieve. What humans had already achieved and what that meant for the galaxy's future. In quiet corners, data analysts began examining the transmission, piecing together every frame, every detail. Scientists muttered in disbelief as they realized the humans' technology was ingenious, elegant, and unlike anything the Council had ever seen. Diplomats whispered about treaties that might need rewriting. Soldiers wondered how a species that had endured annihilation could inspire such loyalty and courage. And somewhere in the distant reaches of space, the humans watched. They did not need to intervene. Their survival, their message, and the simple truth of their existence had spoken louder than any fleet, louder than any weapon. They had played the video, and now the galaxy would never forget them. Threx looked at the council one last time. He felt a spark of hope. The humans had done what few thought possible. They had turned fear into curiosity, doubt into respect, and absence into influence. One small video had changed centuries of assumptions. And soon the galaxy would realize something else. Humans were only just beginning. The grand hall was quiet now. The debate slowed. Some delegates left, shaken, unsure what to do next. Others lingered, studying the empty screens as if the holographic images might return. And Threx knew that the story of humanity was no longer confined to old archives or banned footage. It was alive, vibrant, and moving forward, ready to shape the galaxy in ways no one could yet imagine. The humans had survived. The humans had thrived. And now, the galaxy had finally seen the truth. End of Part 2.